Welcome to another Saturday night and taking it to the nub. I'm your host, Boston Jimmy from Stogie Press. This is my co-host, Quinton Brown. And tonight, well, we kind of have an interesting show. We were supposed to have Chris on from Luxury Cigar Club, but Chris had to go to the DR, so we have his partner, Ben Rotem, on. So we're going to bring Ben in a second, and we're also going to bring in three of some of my most loyal followers here as kind of a semi-consumer panel. We'll all get engaged in the conversation, and we're going to have some fun and understand more about what Luxury Cigar Club is, what it brings to the consumer, and what their mission wants to be going forward. So let me start to bring in the team. I think we have everybody. Well, first of all, Ben, thank you for joining. I know we've been going back and forth trying to get this scheduled. I'm so happy to have you on. You are sitting there in a nice warm Arizona sun. We have some folks here that are in the freezing cold. So let's just say you're in one of the best places. I'm in the second best place, and then everybody else is just going to try to find a good place to smoke.
Thank you for having me. Absolutely glad to be here. I think we're all in the best place on this turf right now. I will bring a jacket so nobody feels jealous of me, but that'll be a little later when it gets colder.
Yeah, well, I'm actually wearing one because it's getting down to like 50 degrees tonight. That's cold for me.
The spoiled Floridians.
Right. Absolutely. So, Ben, let's kick it off with Luxury Cigar Club. I guess you all started this about 2018, this journey. Let's talk about how that journey got started, because I know of the Luxury Cigar Club, but I never knew the whole story of how you and Chris got together, how you knew, whether you knew each other beforehand from a cigar perspective. How did this whole project get kicked off?
Okay, I'll go through it. It's pretty simple. I mean, Chris and I have known each other for many years. We actually met racing cars.
Oops, I'm sorry. I hit the wrong button. Just unmute yourself.
If you don't want to hear it, just tell me. I don't know. So I don't know what you heard, but we met each other car racing. We used to race at what is called NASA, National Auto Sport Association, which is an amateur league that you drive what you bring. So it's nothing, it's not a Formula One type of setting, if a lot of people imagine that, but it's really fun. And we met each other there. I think it was about 12 years ago or so, and became good friends, and enjoyed stogies with each other once in a while. So it was just part of our relationship to some degree. But that was back again around 2010 or 11 when we met. What happened in 2018 is actually we teamed up to start a little store up in Cottonwood, right by where Chris lives, and David, which was our partner in the beginning, and his girlfriend, they had a jewelry store, and we decided we will start selling a little bit of cigars out of that jewelry store. We called it Redbeard, and the store did really well. We started expanding what we do, which was some wholesale. We started providing cigars to all kinds of bars around us and other businesses, and that did really well. But at the end of the day, the idea came for us to do something like this because it didn't exist. We saw all these clubs, or cigar of the month clubs, which is not really what we call ourselves, but none of them provided anything that seemed exciting to us. It was all back in 2017, 18. What we saw was like, okay, I have these sticks in the back. I'm gonna send them in, a 5-pack of this or that to the members, and it's not what we wanted. We wanted an experience that excited us. So we said it doesn't exist. Let's create it, and then we started our trip on the Luxury Cigar Club side of things. And we definitely did not know what's going to happen, how we're going to do it. Every single step, everybody that's in the cigar industry, or at least joined in the past 5 years, it will tell you how hard it is to get in the swing of things, regulations, taxes, all the legal aspect of it can take a lot of the fun out of it. And definitely it's not something that you make big money doing. So the reward is not there immediately. You have to really love what you're doing. Otherwise, it's not going to succeed.
So
and
let's pause on that for a moment. So this is like almost 5 years ago. How did you go about curating what you were going to sell for your site? And I guess I also want to come back around to your site you feel is different than a cigar in a month club or a regular online site. I'd like to know how you discriminate between those different definitions and makes Luxury Cigar Club special.
Okay. So to begin with, the website was not part of our design, let's say. We had our little store, local, and we had our club, or that was growing and with members all across the country. That was it. That was what we're doing. We just did it with passion. We started creating a social network that did not exist back then. Even though it's not that long ago, it was just not a very big thing. Like, there was no herfing. There was no, social communities such as Discord and such. We only opened the website, I think, January, December, maybe of 2020. And it developed. So basically, we would curate our boxes and what goes out to the members. And we would buy a little extra for that, because we never know how many members we're going to have. And we started growing a little bit of an inventory. It was only the good stuff that we wanted. So we didn't open an account with any company and like, okay, give us a facing of each or two or whatever. It was like, we want this, we need whatever, how many boxes. We bought an extra 5-10 boxes, and that's it. And once we had enough, and we had, on our store inventory, we opened a little bit of a website. Nothing like it is right now at all. Wasn't even similar. And slowly grew it. And then it became evident that the way that we're doing it is a way that our members appreciate. So they want the stuff that they tried. They want the stuff that they know that we tried over and over. And all of us agree that is fantastic cigars. And that's what's up there for sale. And just to answer kind of like, the philosophy of it is, not unlike Stogie Press, is that we put out what we like. It was never like, okay, what will a lot of people like? Let me put that. Oh, a lot of people enjoy acids. I think it's the #1 selling brand. We don't have them. This is not what I smoke. It's not what Chris smokes. We won't put it there because we want to put the stuff that, I'm not talking down on acid. I'm just saying it's a huge brand that is not part of our niche in this market. There are millions of cigar smokers. I don't know. I think last I read was 8-10 million maybe in the country.
3%, 3% of the population, 300 million. Yeah, we'll do 8 to 9 million.
Yeah. And out of those, you know, in our niche, I think it's much, much less than that. You know, you have all the people that, you know, they smoke their nub for years, or other cigars that's their go-to. And our generation, so to speak, of cigar smokers and cigar nerds and people that are into the experience a lot more than just about the act of sitting and smoking, and they want to learn, and they want the new stuff, and they want, you know, the good stuff, and they don't mind paying for the good stuff, and they don't, you know, and go into the chase, you know, if it's opus or other stuff that's harder to find, or even this beautiful cigar that, you know, it comes and goes. You know, the first iteration of Johnny Tobacco Nut, which I know we're going to speak about a little bit, and the second one, you know, they came, they went. It's not something that is easy to get. You have to be quick. You have to be on it. And so that's kind of where we're at. And I know the same with you. You put up reviews of cigars that you enjoy. And
right. If it's worthy of being on a site, it's on the site. It's what I would want people to smoke. If I was to give somebody a cigar, I'd be like, hey, this is a good cigar to smoke. And I appreciate that's how you do it. And you've got relationships with all of the brands that you have on your site, or do you work through other channels to procure them?
We have relationships. So I'm more in charge of the relationship side with our vendors in the business, if you want. And it's all relationships. It is all relationships. You know, we work very closely with pretty much everyone. I'm sure I can find a few brands maybe that we're not really close with, but in general, this is it. You know, half the owners of those companies are on my speed dial, because we're either just communicating about stuff and we're friends, or, you know, we're working together on a project, or, you know, that's what it is. It's all about the relationship in this industry, and it's very simple, really. You know, if you click with someone, you know, you can work together, because maybe one cigar is not the best, but he's coming out with something new, and he'll call me, Ben, listen, I know you didn't like the other one. You got to try this. I'm like, of course, send it. It's amazing. Let's put it in the box, or let's put it in the store, or so on. You know, while if you don't have a relationship with someone, some person calling you, hi, I'm from this big company, do you want to try this cigar? I'm like, not right now. We're pretty full for the next few months, but send them, you know what I mean? So it's really simple like this. It's not rocket science. It's basic people.
So let's go around the room real quick and just see what luxury cigars everybody's smoking. Okay, so you're smoking the Johnny Tobacco Nut. I'm actually smoking something I took out of my humidor. It's been in there for over a year and a half at least. Is the Dominican Big League, the DBL second generation. Okay, which is a fabulous cigar. Has mellowed quite a bit in the last year and a half already.
Francisco Almonte.
Francisco Almonte, that's correct. Quinton, what are you smoking?
I am actually smoking a Drostate event only. You can't really see it. It's got it blurred out, but the Undercrown 10 Tuani.
Oh, okay. How about you, Jeffrey? You're on. You got to unmute yourself real quick.
Casabella, Nicaragua.
Casabella, Nicaragua. How about you, Adam?
I am smoking the CAO Arcana.
That's the new one. That's right.
That's the new one. That's the one you sent me in the Wheel of Wonderfulness.
Well, I haven't even smoked it yet, so that's good. Well, I'll get your review. And I'm sorry, we got iPhone on. We got to change your name.
Oh, this is Daniel. I'm smoking the El Princio by Geronimo.
Oh. So that's a full collection of different cigars in all kinds of ranges. And your site pretty much covers a range of these palettes that we just heard about.
Yep.
I'm going to pass the ball quickly to Quinton. You've been listening, Quinton. You might have some questions based on the dialogue that you'd be interested in having answered.
So the one of the biggest questions I have that has always intrigued me with folks that put together a compilation of cigars and they send out to the consumers is, where do you guys take a let's just say, for instance, do you guys take a panel? Is there something that you guys do, or every month when you guys sit down and you're trying to figure out those 3, 4, 5, however many cigars may be included in that month, how do you guys determine what goes in each box every month, or what goes to each person, so that there is constantly a collection that that person may enjoy, or may keep that person coming back and resubscribing? Because I found myself participating in the mailers and different things like that, and after about 5 or 6 months I get a little bored, I'll be honest with you. So how do you keep that interest? How do you keep getting that person to want to resubscribe or re-up and put that thing on automatic withdrawal, and I don't even care because I know you're going to keep sending me that hotness?
That's a fantastic question. So first and foremost, this might explain part of it, but when we started, again, it was an experience that we created for us. It's like, what do we want? We never sat there and thought, okay, what would this guy like? What would that guy like? Are they going to enjoy this? No, it's like, these are cigars that we smoked, Chris and I, and many times, and maybe, if it was David back in the day, but other people, Sam, or other, people within the company will smoke again over and over. So every cigar gets smoked 10, 20 times. Like, this is a great cigar, we want to put it in. At first it was more just, let's say, Chris and I, and we decided, and it just goes out. And if you don't like it and you get bored or whatever, even though it doesn't happen often, then you'd leave. But what we did was, like, what do we want? And what we had was a collection of people that enjoyed our choices because they were different every time, because they were really, really good, because you get a chance to try cigars that maybe you've seen, maybe you haven't even seen. We get so many samples shipped in from so many companies. It wasn't always like that. Obviously, at first, we just picked up cigars either that we had, accounts with, or we would go to retail stores and pick up cigars that we didn't know, that looked interesting, that looked good. We'd smoke them. Some of them sucked. Some of them were great. If they were great, we'd work to start a relationship with those companies. And I think the formula works. At the end of the day, it doesn't get too monotonous. We make sure to switch it up. Yes, there are companies that we absolutely love, and they've been in the box time and time again. And I haven't heard complaints, whether it's the beautiful logo, Jimmy's jacket. I was going to pick up my ashtray, but it's a little dirty already, which is Viva la Vida, which are great friends of ours, and the cigars that they came out with. And then, of course, if you know or not, if you haven't, you should really try it. They made an exclusive cigar for us, which is the Viva la Vida Lancero, which is, objectively speaking, one of the best Lanceros out there. And, and we had most of their different sizes of the Viva in our box one time or another. So every 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, you would get a Viva that you haven't tried. We never put the same cigar, the same Vitola twice. So, if we put one, and then the 500 came out and the club came out, so people get to smoke it over and over, different iterations of it, or Atabey and Byron, which we absolutely love, and cigars that are harder to find, but they'll go in maybe a little more often than some cigars go, but nobody complains about that. And then you have all these new brands and new cigars that come from really all over, that once in a while you'll get to try, and they're always good. I'm trying to think of. Here, just picked up one of our boxes that we had, one of the last boxes, because it had the Johnny Tobacco Nut in there. You know, you're a Room 101 fan. You've smoked the Fars, you've smoked the Payback, you've smoked everything. You know, you've heard of this. Maybe it shows up. It's exciting. You know what I mean? It gives you a little bit of a dopamine hit, or a, and then you look in there as well. This is just really just a random box.
So let's go to Daniel. Daniel, you've been listening. What kind of questions do you have for a company like Luxury Cigar Club?
I don't have a whole bunch. I really enjoy what you guys are doing there with the samplers and stuff. You get to try something different all the time. I found so many great cigars that way that I would have never got to try otherwise.
Thank you.
Now, I belong to like 3 wine clubs, right? Because I love my wine. And I've not drinking a lot of it lately because I'm trying to lose some more weight. But my wine clubs allow me to go in and define a profile, define what I like. You know, I like Merlots and things like that, you know, nice, rich, deep reds. So they're not sending me, you know, medium bodied or light bodied red wines. I'm not getting white wines. Have you ever thought about that from a cigar club experience where, you know, I don't like Lanceros? Not me. I'm just saying in general. Somebody says, I don't like Lanceros.
Right.
I like Robustos. That's my thing. And the package, you know, can you ever think about curating packages that fit people's palates and desires in a mix of things as you go month to month? I know it's a little harder, but.
So that goes against, not against, again, it goes with our philosophy, which was we are creating so basically we cater to people that love cigars. Okay, if you say I don't like Lanceros, or I don't like this or that, or I have a Drostate or Robusto or whatever, I'm like, why? Lancero, I think Lanceros are some of the best cigars. You know what? If maybe you had some that weren't good, I'm gonna send you some. If you like cigars, smoke the Lancero I give you, and then tell me you like it. Maybe you don't like it. Actually, if you don't like it, that's okay. Now you know that you really don't like Lanceros for some reason or other. But the whole point of it, and I was pointing out these cigars that just came in this last box. You know, so we have this gringo here, the Lampert Limitada, which is a huge Salomon, barely fit in the box. And then we have this German engineered cigars that are tiny, like 4x40,
Reichenberger or something like that, right?
Which is a half Corona, so looks like 4x40. And we got a box press Salomon that's from Quesada. It's the first box press Salomon I smoked. And then we have a little Roma Craft that's it's almost like a nub. So you got a huge variety, and every month it's different. You know, maybe you liked one, maybe you didn't like one, but you go to it again. So for me, for example, when I go into a cigar lounges or any humidor, there are a lot of cigars that I've seen so many times that I basically just ignore now. I'll go to pick something. I'm like, I've never smoked this. It doesn't draw me for some reason. And I'll go to something else, either something that I smoked and liked or something that really pops up. But if I get that cigar, I'm going to smoke it because it's mine now. And then I'll find out how amazing it is. I'm like, I wish I knew that before, but I didn't. So having somebody curate it for you, select it for you, hopefully it's something where people that are club members trust at this point to pick for them. And they're like, you know what? I thought I didn't like Lanceros. I actually really like this one, and I'm going to try some other ones.
Okay. Very good. Now, I'm going to take a fast commercial break so we can pay for the show. When we come back, maybe Jeff and Adam, you could think of a question or two and to ask Ben it doesn't have to necessarily be around Luxury Cigar Club. It could just be around cigars in general, pallets, things like that. So let's just shout out to the sponsors. Today's show is brought to you by Platinum Nova Cigars. Platinum Nova Cigars is a family-owned and operated premium cigar company. Only the highest vintage tobacco and the most skilled hand workmanship go into the making of each Platinum Nova cigar, resulting in a timeless blend of art and craftsmanship. The Nova brand and the family's work are a tribute and an honor to their grandfather to always remember him and his infinite passion for the finest of cigars. Their love for cigars started with their grandfather, a dedicated master blender and entrepreneur in the cigar industry. So the next time you're looking for an exquisite cigar experience, pick up a Platinum Nova. You can check them out at Platinum Nova Cigars at www.novacigar.com and on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Today's show is also brought to you by La Jolla Del Chan. Welcome to a dream come true. Husband and wife Gabby El Chan and Liz want all the hands that work the tobacco leaf in their home country of Puerto Rico to have the same opportunity to expose their products. They call it La Jolla Del Chan because they cultivate part of their product and at some point want to be able to supply the world with their native tobacco leaf. The pride that Gabby and Liz feel is the same pride of all those who work the tobacco leaf, and for this, they deserve a portal that represents them. Thank you for supporting their country, they say. We will resist. You can follow them at lajolladelchan.com and at El Chan Cigars on Instagram and Facebook. Today's show is also brought to you by the Cigar Clowns. The Cigar Clowns invite you to come along the journey with them to find the perfect cigar. If you're lucky enough to get your hands on one of their limited releases, you know what's up. And if you haven't had one, stay tuned to their Facebook page, and when a run drops, they go quickly. Good conversation, great people, and smoking cigars. We'd like to welcome all brothers and sisters of the leaf who share the same love as we do for cigars to join Cigar Clowns and join the journey for the perfect cigar. You can check them out at the Cigar Clowns page on Facebook. Cigar Medics.
Before you light your next cigar, be sure to check out Cigar Medics, the makers of the patent-approved humidimeter. The humidimeter is a tool designed to display the relative humidity inside your cigar. With this device, there's no more guessing. Simply insert the probes into the foot or cap of your cigar, and you can instantly know if your cigar is ready to be smoked. Buy now on cigarmedics.com and see site for other cigar accessories. With the humidimeter, you'll know when to hold them and know when to smoke them.
And lastly, my good friends at Rodriguez Cigars, Key West. Rodriguez Cigars goes back to 1947, where they began the masterful art of cultivating tobacco on their private plantation on the island of Cuba. I'm sorry, I had a break there. Rodriguez Cigars, as the Cuban Revolution started, had to move to Key West. And when they got there in 1984, they opened up their first factory. That factory still runs today and has expanded to allow visitors to have an experience of rolling their own cigar as part of a cigar tour that they do. So next time you're in Key West, check out Rodriguez Cigars. You can check them out at www.rodriguezcigarskeywest.com. Let's come back to the show. Thank you very much. Without my sponsors, it's a little bit harder to do the show. Jeffrey,
You have some fantastic sponsors, I just have to say.
Oh, yeah, these guys are great. I thank you. Thank you. They are really good people. It's a nice collection, you know. Jeff.
Yes, Jimmy.
Got any questions for Ben?
Ben, one question for you. How would you help a person that's green on the gills that's never smoked a cigar? How would you help him pick out that perfect cigar?
If they never smoked a cigar, you said?
Yes.
Wow, that's a great question also. And as tobacconists, that's one of the, I wouldn't say challenges, but one of our job descriptions, definitions is how do we match something to someone's palate? You can there's several ways to do it. You know, a lot of people will be like, okay, what do you like? Do you drink coffee or chocolate, or do you like white wine, red wine, you know, bourbon, and try to go by that. But I feel that it's better in these cases to do two things. One is to start with a very mild cigar, and in both aspects of strength, of course. If somebody did not smoke, we don't want him thrown up in the bathroom 10 minutes into it. And also something that has mild to medium flavor profile. And it doesn't really matter what the flavor profile is. I think usually it's easier to go with, you know, the sweeter, chocolatier, and not just go with something that's very earthy and you know, less savory, let's say, and go from there. You know, if they like it, great. If they don't like it, you know, you go on the next time. It's really hard when someone says, I've never smoked. There's nothing to compare. If they said, oh, I've had 5 cigars and I really liked, you know, one of them, then you can match to that. But a lot of times I'll just say, start with something really, really good. Don't start with something that's cheap or like a beginner cigar, or something flavored or such, because it's so different than what we smoke every day. Go with something that is really, really high quality. And that way, you know that if you're not enjoying that experience, it might not be for you even. It's not for everyone, of course. So
Awesome answer.
that's kind of what I, you know, if people today come in,
That's good advice, Ben.
All right.
I try to help people when I go to like my cigar shop down here in Florida. I try to help some people that are kind of green on the gills. I tell them, like, you don't want to get like a Perdomo that's more medium to full. You want to get some more mild to medium, which is more like a, you know, like a Casabella or like a Chatter Oak, that in that category there. You know, mild to medium flavor, where they're not bring to the bathroom, like you said, every 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and in there all night, being sick as the dogs, you know.
But I also wouldn't be embarrassed to say, hey, listen, try this $20 cigar. Try this $30 cigar. You know, if it's something that has a lot of age. One cigar that I often in our humidor suggest to people that are just starting or just started, or, you know, they've been smoking for a short while, they haven't found, you know, what they really want, is the Atabey, for example. I don't know if you guys all smoked it.
Fabulous cigar.
Fabulous cigar. It is, you know, it's aged 5 years post roll, and so it's 5 years. In a lot of cases, it'll be 6 years or 7, depending, you know, how long it's at in your humidor. And it's a cigar that just delivers a very refined experience. It doesn't have any of the harshness. You know, the retro is super smooth and delicate. The flavors are so defined. You're like, oh wow, I can actually taste hazelnuts now. Oh, right now I like our actual espresso. So the flavors, even though they're milder, they're very defined, and they don't come with a lot of the harsher experience that some of us, you know, love. You know, pepper and you know, just a strong cigar that in some cases will be a deterrent to beginners. And if they don't like Atabey, again, this is the top. This is, you know, the top echelon. And you have other cigars all throughout, and people smoke all of them. But at least, you know, this is where it's at. And you smoke a few other ones and see where you're at on the scale.
Now, Greg Morgan, before we get to Adam, Greg Morgan online asked the question, ask Ben about the community he and Chris and the LCC family has created.
That's what's his name? Greg Morgan. I'm assuming,
Greg Morgan,
right?
yes.
I love Greg. So Greg is part of our community, of course. And what we did when COVID started and this whole craziness started a couple of years ago, we were unable to meet in person anymore. We were unable to do a lot of things that before that were possible. And then we created something that didn't really exist or wasn't widespread. Right now it's very widespread, but at that point it wasn't. So first thing we started doing virtual cut-and lights. We would bring manufacturers, we would bring, company owners and other people that would usually go and do cut-and lights. And we would bring them, we would do an email blast, we would bring them on Facebook and Instagram. We would do a big live. We would do a sale, just like a cut and line, buy one, get one, or buy 5, get 2, whatever it was back then. And that brought a lot of people together online with us. And even though we had that server beforehand, which it was great, but at that point, it basically exploded. And the relationships that have formed in there, and I know a lot of people will use this word, but it became a family. It is actually a family. These are people, and it's men and women. It's not just a fraternity. It's an actual group of people that are so dedicated to each other and to cigars. Of course, doesn't matter what time you go online, you'll see a lot of people on there herfing and communicating. And if it's crazy, I see the bombs everybody, the mail bombs that everybody sends each other. It's crazy. It's amazing. Generosity and camaraderie like nothing else. And I really think that this is the strongest suit that LCC has, and it's my pride and joy, and it's really a source of pride, really, that I'm part of this. And again, it's not something that we created so much as we facilitated, and the people that came there are just the cigar industry people are amazing. We know that. In general, cigar people are fantastic people, and I feel like the members that we have in our community, which is open. If somebody wants to join, talk to me. They are the cream of the crop. So it's a great place to be.
Thank you. Adam, let's go to you. Got a question?
So I got 2 things for you, Ben. One I want to say is I was one of the original LCC members. And if it wasn't for your boxes, I probably wouldn't be sitting here chatting with you guys tonight. When you guys started, circumstances changed. I wasn't able to do the boxes anymore, but it was awesome to be able to try different cigars that I would never be able to even think about finding or picking up. Like you said, Viva La Vida has some of the greatest cigars out there right now. I got one of the originals from you guys. One of my favorites that I got in the box was the Grand Reserva cabinet that was made in like 2014 or 2015.
The Gran Habano, the red band.
That blew my mind. So, and actually, I was the top tier at the time because you only had 2 levels at the time. And up until I misplaced it, you guys sent out a Bully cigar rest. And up until within the last 3 months, I was using that every single time I smoked a cigar. And then I have no idea where it went, which was very disappointing. I think that thing was awesome. But
you know what? I haven't seen one in our warehouse in a while, but if I do find one, I'm sending it out to you.
I appreciate it, brother. But so where do you, Jimmy, sorry if I steal this question from you.
That's okay.
But where do you see LCC taking off in the next couple years?
So again, man, thank you so much for being an early supporter and for what you said about your experience and where you, or basically how we helped your experience, which is the goal. That's it. You know, it's just about that. It's about, would you and thousands of other people have heard of Viva La Vida without us? Of course, Billy and Gus do an amazing job, but it's we have the power, so to speak, to bring them out so people can experience them now and not have to maybe miss them. And just to say about your experience, you had there are only two. We had the gold and the platinum and the diamond since inception. So you're probably in the platinum, I'm assuming, right?
Yes.
Because I don't remember if we put it in the diamond. The diamond was $150, is $150 a month subscription. So it's not, and it's just been sold out for the foreseeable future. We have a huge waiting list. But what we did open now, we have, and I'm sorry, I'm not answering you immediately, but we opened a couple of other tiers right now that we have. We have like an interim higher level tier. We call it the Sapphire. It costs a little more, but you get maybe not diamond level cigars, but really, really a lot of value and a lot of top of the line cigars. Not that any of our other tiers don't, but and we also opened a more economical, I would say, tier, which is our core line, basically, which, just as the name suggests, it's just the core of it. So unbranded boxes and no fancy print inside. Obviously, everything is very secure and the cigars are top notch, but it only costs $18.99 a month. You get usually, I would say, between $28 to $35 in retail of cigars in there, but no fluff, just core. So that's an option which in this case, it gives you all the benefits of being in the club, which is whether it's our social, being on Discord with us and all the sales that we have. You get, all the members get a very steep discount on the website. So, and that's with core, you can also get that. So even if you're gonna spend $100 on our website, if you sign up to core, which is $19, you will get the value right there and then. Thank you for showing our website.
Yeah, so I just want to, before you finish that question, where does one go to join?
Okay, just go home. It's very easy. Once you go to our page, we have some featured cigars on the top that scroll.
Oh, I see.
J London, for example. And there you go. You have the core subscription, the platinum, the palladium. Platinum and palladium are full on and off. So once we open a few spots, they are available again. A Sapphire is our new tier, and it is usually full as well. We open some new spots every other month or so. There is an email list that you can join to get on the waiting list, if you will. And the diamond, as you saw over there, and of course the option to give this as a gift to anyone. So this in the bottom you can see all the benefits of being a member and the specifics.
And the pricing is once you go to subscribe. So this is $70 a month subscription
For the Sapphire, yes.
for the Sapphire. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how you get
You go
this,
to
folks.
core.
Go to luxurycigarclub.com, go to home, and you can see the different subscriptions here. Palladium is $53.99. You get a discount. Is that a discount for the 12-month?
It's about the same price.
Okay.
We can't really discount much because our monthly boxes are not a money maker for us. So you sign the Palladium, you pay $50 some, and we send out about $80 of cigars in there. You do the math. It's just not something, this is not our monetization, but the members join, they get this great value, great cigars, a great discount, and we just hope that they shop with us, and that's where we can make a little bit of money, but it's not in the monthly subscription.
So going back to Adam's question, where do you see yourself going? Is there going to be anything new, any changes, any thoughts on evolving this over the next 2 to 5 years?
We are constantly working on new stuff. We are, if you follow us, and I'm hoping some of you do, and if you don't, just come on and follow us just to see what's new. You don't even have to join the membership or anything. We're on Instagram as Luxury Cigar Club, and on Facebook as well. And we constantly have new projects and different things that we are working on, if it's cigars, if it's social, if it's other projects that I can't discuss right now, if it's working with some of the greatest of the industry on bringing exclusive, which Johnny Tabacana is an exclusive to us, and others as well, things that we are really, really happy to be able to bring to life that don't exist. One of my projects, or it's our project, was the Cigar University. We just came out with the third iteration of it, with third chapter of it. So the Cigar University, are you familiar with that? Probably not.
No.
That I
I'll
am.
tell about it quickly. So one of the things I wanted to experience was the difference between certain leaves in a cigar, in a matter that is not readily available to consumers. I wanted to see, okay, of course I get different sample when somebody sends me a sample of a cigar. He's like, okay, this is this cigar with this wrapper. This is the same cigar with a different wrapper, and this is, so I get to smoke 3 of them with different moving parts, if you want, inside. But some cigars, most cigars you can, and most cigar smokers can't do that. So we started a project that's a little bit, it's geared towards education, but not only. So it's a box with 5 cigars that come in it, and they have basically the same components, but something is different. So the first one that came out, we did the Binder 101, we called it. So basically we teamed up with Niemer from Valakari. If you know Valakari, phenomenal cigar. They do a lot of the experimental cigars, if you want, the Mark 1, 2, 3. I think it's up to like Mark 30 now. Very, very high quality and great people. And he created for us 5 cigars, all 5 of them delicious. All 5 of them have the same wrapper and filler, but different binders. And you get to smoke them side by side, or one after the other, or even one at a time, and you just write down your impressions. And then you smoke another one, and you see what a difference a Nicaraguan binder versus a Dominican binder versus Candela, you know what I mean? Bring, if it's the flavor, if it's the way the cigar smokes, if it's all these other ways. And then eventually you're like, okay, I know that when I have a Dominican binder, it tastes like this. So now I can take this knowledge and put it on other things. Then we did the next one was with the different filler. And now the last one that just came out actually this week, so we should have some left, is the same experience with the different wrappers, which is the most obvious. So we kept that to the end. And we have a lot of other projects within Cigar University that are going to be coming to light, with some of the greatest blenders of our time working with us, doing all kinds of different things. If it's deconstructing cigars and doing, just having experiences with it that are not available, readily available, or not abundant. So it's part of the fun of it. It's part of a big part of being a cigar geek is you want to learn this stuff, and you want to experiment and experience with things that are a little different, not just sitting again and tasting a cigar and saying this is a good cigar or a bad cigar. You want to learn all about tobacco and all about the flavors and jump deeper.
Good. That last part was awesome. I mean, that project, I think you need to continue doing that and getting more people involved because they'll learn a lot.
And you can put it on the screen if you want, if you're in the website still, just to see what it looks like. So really,
where would that be?
if you just search university, it'll pop up.
Okay. So in the meantime, while I do that, Quinton, you had a question you wanted to ask.
Yeah, I mean, just a little bit of input on that last part that you said. I mean, Jimmie was getting ready to touch on it, so I'm gonna steal his thunder. I think that is a huge part of the cigar community that's missing, right? We obviously have some very knowledgeable smokers, but people only smoke a lot of the times what they know. I have the conversation with people all the time, being somebody that works in the retail establishment, been working in the retail establishment for a minute now, and you'll be surprised how many people come in and they just know what they know, right? But when you put them on to the fact that, hey, if you like the foundation El Huahuense, the foundation El Huahuense is all Nicaraguan tobacco. So if you know what you're getting or smoking, you're more likely to journey down a different path versus if that's all you smoke is the El Huahuense, you may not know that smoking a Drew Estate, you're pretty much kind of smoking something that falls hand in hand because they sometimes curate a lot of their tobacco from the same farm. So if you know that and you're putting people onto that, like, hey, this Dominican tobacco tastes like this, Nicaraguan tobacco tastes like this, I think you're really onto something genius right there that could open the door to a lot of beginner smokers and can make a lot of veteran smokers a little bit more knowledgeable on educating their own palate and maybe trying to journey off that path of the person who always says, all I do is smoke the Andalusian bull. Well, hey, if you pick up something else, this might taste like that Andalusian bull and you might be able to save yourself a couple bucks.
There you go.
Or even be better.
Or you can do better.
I mean,
this here is your.
Okay. Yeah.
So they come in these. So it's $167, and
this is for all three classes.
All three, and they each come in a box, 5 different cigars with the definition of what you have in it, and then of course you want to know more details about each of these educational experiences. They're listed here. So that's very cool. That's really cool. I like that.
Thank you. And you see, I think we discounted them as if you buy all 3 classes. So it's what was it, 160 or so?
160,
but as a member, you get another 20% off on that as well. So if you decided to buy this, just sign up, be a core member. It's costing you $19, and you're gonna save 35 bucks on this. So there's a lot of value that we try to provide. That's what we try to give. We feel like if you don't have value, there's so many companies out there slinging cigars. There's nothing, unique about us unless we create it. But what I was gonna say, when you're in the humidor and that person, maybe you have someone coming in saying, "Oh, I only like Andalusian Bulls," which is phenomenal cigar, by the way. No criticism about that. But a lot of people will come and they'll say something else. Even they'll say, "I only smoke Connecticut's," or "I only like Maduros," and it blows my mind sometimes. I mean, obviously, yes, the way we look at a cigar and we feel it, and the smell of the wrapper, it has an effect. But a Maduro cigar can taste on a whole wide spectrum of flavors that you cannot say, "I only like Maduros," they don't taste like anything in specific. Yes, they're on their spectrum, but they're only one component of it. You know, what kind of Maduro? Is it a Nicaraguan Puro? Is it Dominican, Honduran, or what? Ecuadorian, Connecticut? What is it that? I mean, that's definitely not a Maduro, Ecuadorian.
San
Connecticut.
Andreas, and so many different aspects of
Right. And that's you hit the nail on the head. I mean, I can give you a Connecticut that will make you puke. Okay, people think Connecticut's all.
Please don't.
It's what's inside it. It's what's inside of it that's going to make a difference a lot of times.
It's a combination.
And
A lot of, especially when we talked to Nimmer, or basically when we did the binder, that's one of the things. The binder, which is usually not regarded so much as a major component, it's maybe the minor of the three, right? You have the filler, you have the wrapper, which we all know that makes a big difference. And the binder is sometimes looked at as something that is a little more minor. But you notice when you change the binder, not only does it add things, sometimes putting a different binder will pull back the pepper from the cigar, or the peppery feeling, and it will create a balance. So it's not only what all the different components add, but it's how they work in harmony. From combustion, that is a major part of it too, right? The combustion of the tobacco can change the flavor of the whole stick, and so all these things are really, really interesting to learn. And this, of course, is very basic, right? We have Nicaraguan tobacco versus Dominican versus, you know what I mean? It's nothing really, because we have so many regions within it that each of them taste a little different, but it gives you a little bit of the knowledge, where does the pepper hit me on the tongue? Is it in the front, is it in the back, the sides? And it's stuff that you can take and transfer it to your experience as a cigar smoker.
Awesome. I just really love that project. And
you both, Jimmy.
I think more people got to get involved in that. What I want to do here, take another quick break. I'm going to go through what's new in news and reviews on Stogie Press, and then we'll come back. We'll kind of wrap it up. We're gonna ask you some focused Ben questions. We're gonna learn a little bit about who Ben is. Okay, so yeah, kind of like a lightning round, but we'll try to keep the answers short on that one, and we'll wrap it up. So this week on Stogie Press, I got through 3 reviews this week. The first one was the Protocol Cigars Bass Reeves Maduro. This one came in at an 89. Nice looking cigar, box pressed. It's got a really decent flavor profile. Had some coffee and cream and earth. It had a plum note, which I really like. I don't always get the plum. Had some nut and pepper and spice. Nice construction. This is a Nicaraguan Puro. They don't break down what region they came from. Obviously, they're coming out of Eric Espinosa's. They're actually coming out of San Lantano, but Eric Espinosa has been working with them on this. And you could just see the construction and the burn. A little bit of an off burn there. A nice burn cone. A little bit of a wave coming down. It's got a dark ash. We could talk about that all day long. That's one of my parameters, is an ash color. So comes down to the end. They lost some points with the wave. There's a little too much tang in it. That was where they kind of could have hit, and it got squishy. The barrel in the second half, you could see right here how squishy the barrel got. So they lost a point there. So, but not bad, 89. The next one was the Drostate Acid 20. This is a new, the final of the Acid 20 line. This they released at CPE. This cigar is unlike many acids. If you ever smoked acids, you kind of know the feeling of the old acids. They pasty on your palate. They kind of coat it. You taste a lot of that infusion of spices and that they put into it. This one didn't have a lot of that. It did have a bit of a bitter note at the end, okay, from the Connecticut on itself, but this was giving me some caramel, floral. As a matter of fact, I described this in the beginning It was very Cuban-esque in the beginning. It had this Cuban flavor to it. And if you're familiar with Cuban cigars, you know what I'm talking about. Which I really liked. It had that. It has a sugary sweetness because of its infusion. It had some vanilla notes. Connecticut shade with an Indonesian binder and Nicaraguan filler. One thing about acids, no matter where you sit on the spectrum, they're all made with premium tobacco. It's just how they treat the tobacco. Nice looking cigar, beautifully packed. I mean, just absolutely beautifully constructed. The burn, man, it's phenomenal burn. I mean, it's just perfect burn cone, nice solid ash all the way through. I really like this cigar from not just from an acid perspective, but from cigars just in general. I would definitely pick up more of these cigars without a doubt. I really like this. And then, of course, we talked about, put out today, the Tobacco Knot. This is the Luxury Cigar Club exclusive. You do mention that this is a chapter 1. I do understand there may be other iterations of this coming out based on that.
Yep.
This one here is a beautiful Perfecto, really nice foot on it. This is a $16 cigar. This is coming at AJ Fernandez. And it's, other than the Nicaraguan binder and filler, it's got an Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper. I was getting butter and chocolate notes, some cinnamon. I got nice cinnamon aroma was coming off of it. Some cream, fruit, natural sweetness. It did have this papery note in the beginning, and it did get a little bitter at the end. So basically on that, so you come through, it comes in this outer sleeve, so you'll never know what the cigar looks like until you take it off. But you just saw what it looked like. That's the cigar.
Take those panties off to see what it looks like.
That's it. I love the finish on the foot. You did a really good. They did a really good job on that. You could just see on the burn. I love a good figurado that burns right. Okay, because a lot of times you get a figurado. I don't cut the tip. I know people that slice it here. I don't. I always like the tip. That's what it was designed to do, and I expect it to perform accordingly. And this one did just that. You can still see the tip here.
Hey, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Can I interrupt you for a hot second?
Sure.
If you're cutting the tip, aren't you robbing yourself of some of that initial wrapper flavor
Absolutely.
that you're going to get with the figurado? Isn't that the intention of it? Can you kind of go in depth with that a little bit?
I would agree with you, and I think Ben would too. Every cigar is designed for a reason. I mean, if you take a torpedo is designed to cut, and then you can adjust the drawer. If it's too tight, you can loosen it up by cutting it a little more, but never cut below the line. Otherwise, you're smoking a Toro. The figurados are designed to do just that. You get this concentrated little end here. And then it starts to build. You begin to taste that wrapper more and more and more as it's growing in the beginning. If you cut here, you're losing that whole front end experience, without a doubt.
And it's intended to open up as you transition through those thirds with figurados. Ben, am I right in saying that?
Absolutely. That's the idea behind it. An evolving experience, if you want. When you start, a cigar like this, it'll start a little tight too. You're pulling a little bit. The flavors are concentrated, like Jimmy said, and then it opens up, and then the draw is a little lighter, and then you get a little more of different flavors just joining the party a little bit, and then it changes again because it goes a little tighter, and just making the experience a little more complex.
Yep. So those are the reviews. News-wise, I won't go into all the details in the news. I'll just break it down real quick, sake of time. Drostate announced their bond smoker return. I will note one thing here. Besides the fact they got rid of Louisiana, they have Florida, they had Pennsylvania, we got Kentucky and Connecticut, but they've brought in this one, which is the Savage Feast. This is the DE 25 that was supposed to happen last year. for the 25th anniversary down at the South Fork Ranch in Dallas, Texas. So this is coming back on October 22nd. If you want to go to an amazing event, I can assure you, based on my contacts at Drostate, this is going to blow your mind, this event. They're throwing everything at this. There's going to be live bands and DJs and tailgating and all kinds of fun and frolic around. So this is going to be an amazing event. So I would just say, if you're out there, go get your tickets now. Get planned for that weekend. I should be there for that. Lancero Cigars announced that they've moved into the Slovakian market. So this is a growing cigar market over in the European area. So that's kudos to Lancero. We all know that Carlos Tarano passed away. You can read about that. He was 78 years old. This guy was a pioneer in our industry, and he'll be greatly missed. Punch General Cigars is continuing with their releases of cigars this year. So they announced their Punch Knuckle Buster. They've added a Maduro expression to that. So if you liked Knuckle Buster in the previous version, you're probably going to like the Maduro. Casa Cuevas announced that they're shipping their Flaco, Maduro, and Habanos now. These are the ones that when they last year when their warehouse got broken into, these things all got stolen, so they had to get them remade, and now they're shipping them to retailers. And that's it on the news. This was last week. And then I also put out a review. I'm continuing the lounge reviews I did in Vegas. Okay, so I just put out a review of the 8 Lounge in Las Vegas. This lounge here is in the new Resorts World. I mean, this is just an absolutely spectacular looking lounge. It actually has 8 different areas to smoke in. 8 is a lucky number in Chinese, so the whole thing is all based around that. And it has a small humidor. There's only like about 150 facings in this humidor, and they planned it that way. And they are bringing in, they rotate on a monthly or every 2 months, they rotate in some special boutique level cigar they'll bring in. They have a members lounge, which is a $5,000 annual locker fee, get you access to this members lounge. Members lounge, you got people like Alex Rodriguez, Wayne Gretzky, Luke Bryan, Michael Jordan, all part of this. And for an extra fee, you can actually get a special glass locker that you can display your liquor in. So that's a fun thing. Really nice bar, fully stocked, great whiskey selections, great wine. And the outside deck, this is absolutely beautiful. So this is their outside patio, sits outside right off the Vegas Strip over here.
That's beautiful.
That's absolutely beautiful place to sit down. They did a phenomenal job, and they're taking care of this like Disney takes care of Disneyland. Okay, it's clean, it's impeccably clean, manicured. They're always out there, cleaning, making sure everything's right, trimming the bushes. You got the outdoor heaters for the cold desert winter nights. So really nice place. Definitely something to go check out if you're in Vegas. Everybody that seems to be in the cigar industry is good. It's the largest shop that I know of in Vegas right now on the Strip.
It is definitely, I mean, during the TPE now, we spend our evenings there. Everybody did. Actually, we are in the process of them becoming one of our PRPs, a preferred retail partner. So our exclusive cigars will be available there at 8, which is very exciting. So if you're around, stop in there, look at their humidor, maybe pick up one of our cigars.
Absolutely. And lastly, we put out last week's show from Taking It to the Nub is now posted out on the Stogie Press YouTube channel, which you can get to just from here. You just go right here and you'll have it. Be able to see it if you haven't seen that show. Let's get back to Ben.
Hey.
I'm going to ask the first question, and we can go around and ask. Try to keep the answers short for sake of time. When did you smoke your first cigar, and what was it?
My first cigar was a Cuban Romeo and Julieta. I was 19, I think.
Okay. Quentin, got a question?
Come back to me, Jimmy.
Daniel.
Back to talking about the different wrappers and stuff on the cigars. I myself, I like Maduro, but I do like Connecticut and all the others. I like something with a little bit of punch, and I'm always willing to try something different. And also too, I've tried some cigars and not really cared for them, and I always recommend that you always come back to that cigar and try it again, because I found so many that the first one's so and the second one is just blow your mind, and that can happen.
Let me add to that to ask a question directly to Ben on that. What was the strongest cigar you ever smoked?
The strongest cigar I ever smoked, I would have to say Cornelius and Anthony, or at least for me, it was the strongest. And it was, forget the name, the dog one. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. The sugar. Yeah.
It was so strong that I did not know if I could keep on smoking. At a certain point, it became just a thing. It was like, this is like a cigar I need to make sure I have around, because once in a while you want to, I don't know, it was a crazy experience, almost tears in my eyes. It's just like, but unfortunately, I don't think you can get them anymore, or it's going to be hard. You might still find them some places, but
I thought you were going to say
some-
LaFleur de
if you go into some-
something out of Lido Gomez.
Some basement cigar lounges have some Cornelius and Anthony's still laying around. And some of you went into a spot in Pennsylvania, actually in Allentown. Went in there and they had some Cornelius and Anthony on clearance. And I was like, you guys got these things on clearance? They were phenomenal.
Well, grab them.
Senor Esgurio, maybe something like that.
Senor Cigar or something like that.
It's Sugario, yeah, something like that. It was surprising mostly, but it's okay, you know. And also, just to answer your question, you know, sometimes the cigars you smoke, it depends on a million things. I mean, the best experiences of cigars, it's not always the cigar. It could be, you know, the environment we're in, who you're sitting with. It's a nice day outside. Maybe my coffee is just perfect and it complements it. And maybe in some cases, it's just, you know, maybe you got the cigar, you bought a box, you know, you didn't use your Cigar Medic and it was a little too dry and you didn't even know. You let it rest for a week or two, now it's perfect. Or maybe you just need some time. You know, a lot of cigars, or not the super high-end ones, are aged for what, 2-3 weeks. I think that's about the industry standard is a minimum. And sometimes it's not enough. Sometimes it needs to get married a little longer. And, you know, next time you visit it, it's phenomenal. So obviously you wanna go back sometimes. I mean, I'll go back. I have a lot of cigars I smoke for work. You know, samples that come in and such, you know, and I'll go through them. And unless someone tells me, oh my God, this was a great cigar, I'm like, look at my notes. I did not love it, but I will revisit it because it's obviously, you know, either my palate or maybe just the experience that I had. So absolutely, no, there's no shame in going back to cigar. And also no shame if you didn't like it. There's a million out there. Go to the next one.
Hey, Ben, that's a great point, because I think a lot of times people forget that a lot of the times when these cigars come from their said countries, they spend time in customs warehouses, and they sit in sometimes not the best environment. So sometimes they need to be reacclimated into the proper environment in order to get the perfect smoke. So you may be getting something that if it just got dropped off by FedEx, UPS, it was sitting in that dirty ass truck for however long. It was sitting in the UPS warehouse for however long, and it was sitting on the customs dock for however long. Neither
Yeah.
of those, which are the perfect environment for cigars. And then you're going to take it out the box and you're going to smoke it. And then you're going to say, wow, this cigar is trash. You hadn't really given it a fair shake because it hasn't really been in its proper environment to be able to give you the right type of response on the palate. So that's a great point that you bring up.
I mean, rule of thumb would be just give it a couple weeks. You know, let's go into the micro even a little more. Forget the shipping from, you know, it was fumigated and it was shipped. You know, they usually don't put humidification when they ship pallets, of course. But then even if you bought it from me and we're at 4,000 feet elevation and I ship it to you and it's only been a day or two and it does have humidification, but things shift, you know, and then I'm shipping from Arizona, it's a little hot here, and then it gets to you, and the humidity inside, you know, not all the leaves take humidity the same way. Some take longer, some, you know, some are more resistant and some are more sensitive to the humidity. But once you bring them in to your house, to your humidor, let them sit in your house for a little bit, everything equalizes, and then you can give it a fair shake. Exactly that.
So Adam, you got a question about Ben.
Sure. So I know you smoke a lot of cigars because of the LCC, but do you have a go-to cigar that you enjoy smoking all the time?
I have quite a few. I mean, and right now, I mean, we have some new cigars that came out that are our cigars. We didn't talk about any of those. But Choshi, for example, that we just came out today, we had it done with the Artesano del Tabaco, Billy and Gus, the Viva La Vida guys. And they were the master blenders on this, and it got produced at AJ's factory. And the cigars, I have been smoking so many of these. It's just such a delicious cigar. Jimmy, I'll send you a couple to just enjoy. You don't have to review them if you don't want to, but you just to see. And in general, when I'm smoking a cigar, one of my go-tos for sure, I'm just gonna say, you know, it's not gonna surprise anyone that knows me. It's both Atabey and Byron cigars from Selected Tobaccos. Nelson Alfonso, you guys are familiar with them, and the reason that they're my go-to cigars is mostly the consistency, meaning and I've smoked, I don't even you know, if I say thousands, I'm probably not exaggerating, and not a single bad stick. And every time I light one of those, I know exactly what it's gonna taste and how it's gonna burn, and from top to bottom, there are no disappointments. It's when I'm like, you know, I'm gonna compare it to something totally different. You know, when you want, I don't know, a cheeseburger, you want a McDonald's cheeseburger. It doesn't matter because it's always the same thing. You know what I mean? I don't eat burgers, but I'm just you just wanna. Sometimes you're in the mood for something very specific, and they deliver every single time. There's no disappointments.
So Jeff.
Yes,
You have a question about Ben.
Ben, if you can have one cigar with somebody from history, who would that one person be?
Yeah, so it has to be like a celebrity from history?
No,
or any person?
Any person from history.
Alive or dead? It has to be my father. Passed away 22 years ago, and we never smoked together.
Ooh, my condolences to you, Ben.
Yes.
Thank you. It's been a while. You know, he's one of the reasons I became a smoker. Even he was a big pipe smoker. I have a small collection of pipes from him. I'm not really big into that. I was thinking about delving a little deeper into that, but yeah, if I could, you know. But that's an easy question. Anything I could do with anybody from history, alive or dead, I would choose him. But for sure, that would be something. Something I would cherish very, very much.
That's wonderful. I like
it.
It
Is.
Quinton, you're gonna wrap it up here. Ask the question.
I am. I'm gonna come with the big boy question right now. Ben,
Scared. Yeah.
You are extremely knowledgeable in your craft, sir, and I applaud you for that. if there was one collaboration that you have not had the opportunity to have, and you could shoot your shot and make that happen on Stogie Press, who would it be with and why?
It's a big one. It is a big boy. I have to put some thought into that.
That's why I have Quinton as a
so-
co-host.
I mean, I'm very honored to basically have access and relationships with a lot of the cigar makers, new and old, phenomenal people, from Matt Booth through companies with hundreds of years of experience, like La Palina, Sammy, so many. But one thing maybe is one of the heritage companies, or maybe doing a project with Davidoff or something like that, just because it's not accessible at the moment. So I don't know if that answers your question exactly, because
Yeah, it does, man. That's,
answer.
listen, I'm bringing the hot takes. I'm like the Stephen A. Smith of the show. I'm gonna ask you the hard questions. I'm just not gonna yell at you like Stephen A. does.
you can yell. It's okay. I like it.
Okay, so we've gone way on time, but this has been really good. It's been very educational. Thank you very much. As Quinton says, your knowledge is impeccable. I really enjoy talking to knowledgeable people when it comes to cigars. I always try to throw some nuggets out there for the audience so they can learn a few things. I'm going to give you the last word before I wrap it up.
So thank you for these kind words. And of course, you guys are extremely knowledgeable as well. And I love it. That's what I absolutely, sitting and conversing about things like this is why we started what we're doing. And thank you for having me and giving us an opportunity to just delve a little bit into who we are, what we do. And actually, I was going to say, these beautiful hats, maybe we can give one to one of the viewers or one of the panel members, but actually I'm going to do something else just because we discussed it in depth. I'm going to send you a 3-pack of our Cigar University program, and feel free to either smoke them or give them out, enjoy them, and let me know what you think.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you for joining the show and taking time out of your
Thank you for having me.
People that
Whenever
are
you
watching,
want.
people that are watching, remember, you can go to luxurycigarclub.com and check out what they've got to offer. They do have some uniqueness to them now that I have a better understanding of what they're doing, and I really enjoyed that. I want to thank Daniel, Jeffrey, and Adam for taking the time to join the show today live. Quinton, my great co-host, is always asking the right questions. And to all the sponsors and viewers, thank you for your support over the years, because without them, this show it doesn't happen. So with that.
Absolutely. I'll do one more thing before we go, actually. Once we get off, I'm going to create a coupon code for your viewers. It's going to be Stogie Press, and it's going to be on all weekend, and 15% off everything. Go wild.
There you go. We'll see if we can make that happen. All right. Okay. So with that, I want to say good night to everybody. This is Stogie Press. Peace. Boston Jimmie out. You all have a great weekend, and we'll catch you next week. With that,